morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told how to voice the radio. So today, it is time again to go and have a look at everything we know about Pardox Rift. And yes, I am fully aware we've done this before. But I'm also fully aware that since we last had our big update about everything we know about Pardox Rift, we've had the full reveal of the entire set for Raging Surf over in Japan, which is a pretty big deal. And we've also had the official reveal of Future Flash and Ancient Raw over in Japan, that are, of course, the Japanese equivalents, the Scarlet and Violet 4, which brought with them a whole bunch of new stuff. So yes, it absolutely is time to have another look. Now, in terms of our Pardox Rift, it is coming out on November the 7th, and we know what the products are going to be at this stage. We know there's going to be a booster bundle, 6 packs for the price of 6 packs. We know there's going to be a build and battle box we use for pre-releases, but we don't know what the 4 promos are. We know there's going to be a build and battle stadium with 2 build and battle boxes and some extra packs and tokens, etc. But we still don't know what the promos are. We know the free pack blister promos, which is very nice. We know they're going to be featuring Arctobax and Titan. Arctobax is an alternate art, Titan is a brand new card. And we know that the 1-pack blisters are going to feature Pineco and Sinistea. Both of those are alternate art. We know that there are going to be 2 regular booster boxes, 1 Ancient, 1 Future, and 2 Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer boxes, 1 Ancient and 1 Future. But as you can see from this image, although we know what it's going to look like in terms of contents, we don't know what the promos look like. We know they're going to be Scream, Tail, and Iron Bundle because they put them up on the website, I believe, in error because they've since been removed, as in the names, not the actual cards. They're going to be the illustration rares from the set, but we just haven't actually seen them yet. So, yeah, sorry about that. Now, that's what we've got in terms of products, and that's all very exciting, but we actually know a lot of what this set is actually going to constitute. So, if we go and have a look at Raging Surf as an example, we know a lot of what we're getting here. Now, we still don't know all the secret rares, but we do know all of the Pokemon EXs. We know that we are going to be getting a Water-type Terra Garchomp, a Grass-type Terra Frostlass, a Fighting-type Terra Hooper. We know that they are all coming. That is all official. That is all confirmed. We also know we're going to be getting a Goldengo, a Bombardier, and a Tapu Koko EX. Again, this is all confirmed. Card images are coming up on the screen as I'm telling you here. This is all completely and utterly official. What I will say is, we don't know which of those are necessarily getting special illustration rares. We do know a couple of them. We've seen Goldengo and we've seen Garchomp, both of which look absolutely stunning. But unfortunately, we haven't seen all of them yet. This is one of those watch this space kind of deals. But yeah, we got Goldengo and we've got Garchomp, and they both look absolutely wonderful. Now, in terms of the EXs, the point of this video is not to go through every single attack of every single card. We'd be here forever, and honestly, it would probably get kind of dull reading off all the attacks in order. What is more important is picking out the ones that are particularly good, and honestly here, the big one is going to be Goldengo. Goldengo is definitely the big boy here. This is the one whereby the ability lets you draw a card, and if it is active, you actually get to draw 2 instead, which is clearly just silly. And then it's got an attack that lets you discard as much basic energy from your hand as you like, doing 50 for each card discarded in this way. This is clearly brilliant. The Hooper's got a little bit of potential, 2 darkness energy, and it does 50 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon in play. Look out for that one, that could be kind of interesting. We've got Bombardier EX that for a single energy lets you search your deck for 3 basic Pokemon and bench them. But you also got to bear in mind, if you go first, you can still use that attack turn 1 going first, which is clearly very, very good. And to be fair, Garchomp for a single energy does 160 and attaches 3 fighting from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. That's pretty fun. Oh, and shout out to Frostlass, because if it's active and KO'd, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent takes 1 less prize card. Don't think it's good, but it is at least a fun ability. Those are the EXs which are going to be coming around in Raging Surf. We've seen all 6 of them. This is official. This is awesome. But then when we get to Ancient Roar and Future Flash, which is the last 2/3 of the set in terms of Japanese releases, we then see the introduction of Ancient and Future Pokemon. And this is a big deal. Now, the first couple they showed off here was Iron Valiant EX and Roaring Moon EX. Now, according to the press release, the whole point of these is essentially that your ancient Pokemon are coming up for big attacks and hard to KO, whereas your future Pokemon are going for a bit more tricksy, and that does totally hold up. I mean, Roaring Moon, for free energy, gets an instant KO on anything. Okay, it does 200 to itself, but instant KO on anything. And then free energy 220 if you discard a stadium is kind of great. And then Iron Valiant EX has got an ability whereby when you move into the active spot, you then get to drop 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So yeah, they straight away kind of showed us how good this could be. But then we've got a bunch of... Now, we haven't seen all the EXs from this set, let's be clear, but we've seen enough to get very, 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 very excited. I mean, the one that's really got a lot of people up in arms here is Iron Hands. 4 energy, 120, but if you take a KO, you take an extra prize card. And it's worth noting that future cards also have Techno Radar. You discard a card from your hand and search for 2 future Pokemon. That's ridiculous. And Future Boost Energy Capsule, which takes away your retreat cost and lets you do an extra 20 damage on your attacks. And taking away retreat cost is great for Iron Valiant, flicking in and out the active. And the extra 20 damage is great for Iron Hands, because the whole taking an extra prize. This might be the most broken tool card we've ever seen, and I'm not exaggerating. So this is one to get very excited about. And then over in Ancient, we got Sandy Shocks EX that's got an ability that if your opponent has 4 or fewer prize cards remaining, you can attach a basic Pokemon from your discard pile to this Pokemon. Free energy 200 can't attack next turn is fine, but we've seen Pokemon that can attach from the discard to themselves before, and they've always been good. Now, we do also have some other little tricks for Ancient here. We've got Earthen Vessel that lets you search for 2 basic energy if you discard a card from your hand. Not just for Ancient, but still pretty good. And actually, while we're here, Professor Turo's Scenario lets you just pick up a card. It's ridiculous. It's going to see a huge amount of play. But then we got Professor Sada's Determination that lets you choose 2 of your Ancient Pokemon and attach 1 basic energy from your discard pile to each Pokemon and then draw 3 cards, which is nuts. Also, shout out, I particularly like Sliverwing here, that for 2 energy does 120 and 90 to itself, but it also burns your opponent's active and it's 2 fighting energy on a basic Pokemon. Turn 1 going second, this thing's going to be big. And while we're here, we might as well quickly mention Iron Jugliss, that free energy 50 to 3 of your opponent's damaged Pokemon, or 5 energy 150, but it's only free if you've got a Future Boost Energy Capsule attached, which is a bit nuts. And then, of course, we've got the return of TMs in the set. Now, we've seen a bunch so far, but certainly the most impactful seems to be TM Devolution, that for a single colorless energy, lets you just evolve each of your opponent's Pokemon. That is clearly going to be very good. But then you've got TM Evolution that lets you evolve 2 of your Pokemon on the bench for a single colorless energy. Some of these could be very, very good. Worth noting that all of these TMs, the way they basically work is that you attach them to one of your Pokemon and then they fall off at the end of the turn. So you don't necessarily have long to take advantage of them. But then again, yeah, they are going to be particularly useful while they're there. So I think we're going to be okay, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going to do just fine. Also worth noting here that we have got the non-EX version of the Treasures of Ruin. They were revealed. Now, they're not quite as good as they were kind of in Paldea Evolved, which I don't think is a particularly controversial comment. But I am very partial to the Ting Lu that for free energy can do 220. Now, to be fair, if you've got 4 or more damage counters on it fails, I don't care. Oh, and actually, shout out to Chen Pao. For free energy, you do 130, discard 2. But if you're already playing a water deck, this is a decent single prize attacker. So this is absolutely one to keep an eye on. This looks to be, as in Pardox Rift, looks to be the most impactful set we've seen in a very long time. Like Raging Surf alone, if we only look at Raging Surf, we've got Goldengo, which is absolutely brilliant. Bombardier can really give some speed to some decks in the early game. We've got a Jirachi coming, which has got a redonkulous ability, which stops basic Pokemon dropping damage counters. Yeah, it's basically there as a massive counter to Sableye, and I think it's going to work. So that's a little bit silly. You know, we've got Garchomp, which is at least interesting. We'll have to see if the Stage 2 really takes it away. There are a lot of cards in this set that look pretty gosh darn good. And then, of course, you know, by the time we get to, well, the second part of the set, your Ancient Roar and Future Flash, it looks like the game might get completely turned on its head. Like, Roaring Moon looks ridiculous, Iron Valiant looks ridiculous, Iron Hands looks ridiculous, you've got really good support cards, everything here just looks absolutely amazing. This is going to be a big set. This is going to be the biggest Scarlet and Violet set so far, and yes, I am including the base set in that. The introduction of Ancient and Future Pokemon, fine, there might be mechanics we've kind of seen before. I'm not going to use Single and Rapid Strike. They're still going to be huge. And Raging Surf's got a bunch of good cards in. And there's a bunch of popular Pokemon. This is going to be a very, 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 very big set. And hopefully this video has shown you why that's going to be. I've shown you all of the products that are coming out. I've run you through the main cards in both Raging Surf and, from what we know at least, Ancient Roar and Future Flash. And as always, I'm going to be back every time there's news about this set, new cards, new products, new anything. I'll be here, ladies and gentlemen. That's the kind of thing I do. But for now, it's over to you guys. Tell me what you need to know about this in the comment section. Tell me what you think about this in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.